This then is the new 6th generation BMW M5. It has a 600 horsepower, 4.4 litre twin turbocharged V8, and to put that onto the road it has 4-wheel drive. On the outside, subtle isn't it? It looks a bit like any other 5 Series. It isn't pumped up and muscled out like, say, a BMW M2. But look closer. There are vast cooling ducts at the front, quad exhausts surrounding a diffuser at the rear, and in between those, a carbon fibre roof. What's it like? This is a big car, you know, it's 5 metres long, sort of 2 metres wide, 1.95 tonnes. Actually, this is a twisty road, and it's quite pleasant actually, it's quite appealing. It feels quite dynamic. Everything is on, 4-wheel drive is on in its most stable mode. But because the steering is quite quick, not much more than 2 turns, 2 and a bit turns, has quite a fast direction change, but isn't nervous in a straight line, which is important in a car like this, isn't it? Because it's built for going ridiculous speeds on autobahns. But let's say that you don't just want to go quietly, smoothly and easily from one place to another. You want a bit more dynamism. Okay, so there's quite a lot to talk you through mechanically, which is why I've stopped. There's a 4.4 litre V8 at the front, there was before, but this one has new turbochargers. The injection pressure is up to 350 bar, and it now drives through a conventional automatic rather than a dual clutch auto. More significantly than that, it drives through all 4 wheels, but this is where it all gets heinously complicated. Right, we get modes for everything, right? Normally it is rear wheel drive biased and it pushes power to the front when it needs it. That's even in standard 4-wheel drive mode. But there is also a sport 4-wheel drive mode, which puts even more power to the back and then only a little bit to the front. And then if you do certain things with your stability control, to turn it off, you can put it exclusively into rear wheel drive. As well you might, but even with DSC off, you can still choose between the 3 different 4-wheel drive modes, and they still do 3 different things. On top of that, there are 3 modes for the engine response: Sport, Sport Plus, Efficient. There are 3 modes for the adaptive dampers. There's Comfort Sport and Sport Plus. There are 3 modes for the steering weight. It doesn't change the steering speed or anything, it's just electric power assisted steering conventionally. But you can put that in Comfort, which is light, through to Sport Plus, which is really heavy. On top of all of that as well, and on top of your gear lever, instead of just a sport mode for the gear lever, there's a sport mode for the gear lever as well. You can also then put these up and down and it just changes the sort of revs that the gearbox changes up out. I quite like that actually, that works quite well. Anyway, well, let's go for a drive and we'll see how all of this pans out. I will start off then with everything in soft mode, if you like. So I've got the engine in efficient, I've got the dampers in comfort, I've got the steering weight in comfort, I've got the noisy exhaust off. This is, after all, a business express. So it's fair to assume there will be times when all you want to do, sit back, relax, just get to somewhere briskly, quietly and easily. So, reasonably comfortable actually. The engine is, we're doing what, 94 k's, so 50 miles an hour. The engine has faded to a nothingness. The gearbox is changing up quickly, smoothly, easily. And the ride is fine. You can get 19-inch wheels as standard, you can get 20s as an option. This is them. Comes on a sort of not quite iron disc as standard with carbon ceramics as an option. They reduce the unsprung mass as well as just lasting a bit longer on circuit. Let's put it in, confirm. Driving stabilisation. Right, now I'm in DSC off. You see, this is where it's daft, isn't it? It's just too much going on. Because I need to go to the menu, I need to go to the vehicle, I need to go to M setup, my X drive. Right, now I can start changing that, but I'm already on the road I want to be on, so I possibly think there's too much going on the choice for us. It's no wonder you have to have 2 of these buttons up here which have got the thing programmed in. But anyway, I'm going to go into 4-wheel drive sport. In any of the 4-wheel drive modes, it's supposed to only really put power to the front when the rears start to slip. So, right, so the thinking is it's mostly rear drive anyway and pushes power to the front when it needs to. So it kind of feels BMW-ish in that front engine rear wheel drive fashion all the time anyway. Let's put my exhaust on. There's yet another thing you can change. It does augment the noise slightly through the speakers, which is why it sort of comes from there. But by all accounts, BMW has tried to up the ante of that exhaust noise, and I think it's fair to say they've probably succeeded, actually. Not as angry as an E63 AMG. Those AMG engines do make a really special noise inside and out. This is more refined than that, I guess, more subdued. The same goes for the exterior, isn't it, really? This is a bit more, and actually I think probably the ride comfort too. This is a bit more of an executive car that then does the sports saloon stuff when you really want it to. An E63 is always that bit more angry, that bit more edgy. I'll tell you what, this is good. This has got loads of poise. And even, interesting, even on the road, if you just give it a little bit of a tickle of the throttle out of a corner, it just straightens the line even in four-wheel drive sport mode. It's quite rewarding, engaging, I like that. However, the most amount of fun, I suspect, will come if you put it in two-wheel drive. And we might need a circuit for that. We have one, not for very long, couple of laps. That's ESC deactivated, configure X drive, and now I'm in two-wheel drive. And immediately, there's the sort of benign balance that a big, leisurely rear-wheel drive car. Oh, I like it. I like it. I like this car a lot. But let's see what it's like to experience on the road in two-wheel drive mode. I expect 95% of the time you won't notice any difference whatsoever, but just as you exit corners, it just does feel that little bit more agile. Never gets quite as angry as an E63, does it? It never gets quite as growly, but it's always that little bit softer, I think. It's always that little bit more subtle, as I suppose M cars quite often are. You know what? I think I rather like that. I think you'd rather like that too. What I like about it is it's not just doing what an E63 does. The AMG and BMW M both do pretty different things. Similar things, but in a slightly different way. And I've got an awful lot of time for both of them, actually. Which would you choose? You know, I think it's a really tough question, and probably a question for another day.